Hi everyone, my name is Tasha and welcome to another video. I am Miss Kiff and I have been full-time traveling for the last 6 months, but nomadic living for 2.5 years in total. So I thought let's just go back 2.5 years and how I kind of started nomadic living. 22 June is when I first bought my van, Luna. And she has a very special place in my heart, and I highly recommend you watch back on my YouTube series, which I'll link over here. But this really was the start of my nomadic life. So 2022, I moved into a van because I was going to be homeless. I didn't want to rent again. After the pandemic, I had been in so much debt because I lost my job and I got stuck out of the UK. I was in South Africa for a year and I ended up moving to Wales to study a master's. So I would say at this point in my life, I was starting over and I was really financially struggling. So I was just trying to build myself back up from the damage that 2020 created for me. If I was to rent, it didn't make sense for me to be able to pay off debts. And also, I was sick of being in a room, being stuck in a room, because I could only financially afford the room. I couldn't go out and do things. And I thought the best alternative is van life. So my nomadic journey has started with van life. And van life is the most incredible experience that I've ever had in my life, to be honest with you, especially doing it solo. My tuition fee, half my tuition fee, and I bought a van and moved into it and started to convert full time. My mum had just passed away about 3 weeks before I bought my van, and the van, I remember when getting Luna, I was like, oh my goodness, I'm just so grateful to have Luna. She brought a smile back in my life where I really felt hopeless. I felt I didn't want to live. I just felt really down. So Luna was a blessing for me. That for the next 7 months, this became a real challenge because I went from working as a receptionist in a care home into being a digital marketing executive, because my master's I was studying was a digital marketing degree, a master's in strategic digital marketing. And I was blessed enough to get a digital marketing executive role, which I'm super grateful for. But I knew that job wouldn't last because they didn't allow you to be mobile at all. So I had to it was like an office-based job, and being in the van, that was my biggest challenge. 2022, for the 6 months that I had Luna, was mostly building the van, exploring different van life festivals, which is really cool. I got to learn how to build my van with the van life community, and I got to go to like the Isle of Wight, I got to go to Stonehenge, I got to go to Sheffield, I got to go to the Peak District. So my kind of nomadic life started in the UK, in Wales, and a little bit of England. And you know what, I've been living in the UK since 2009, and that was the first time that I experienced the beauty of the countryside. UK is one of the most beautiful places to travel in a van, and I know a lot of people will be like, what? That seems crazy, but it really is. Like, it has a very special place in my heart. The nature, even though we don't have mountains, only in Wales, the UK has valleys, it has hills, it has a very heritage landmarks, and you see a whole part of the UK which you've never experienced before. And the Peak District is so beautiful. Like, I cannot wait to go back to the Peak District. So that's how I started to like a little bit of nomadic travel. I couldn't go too far with the van because the van mechanics was an ongoing issue. But then so we entered 2023 and I'm just like, okay, what's next? What do I do? Because I know that I'm not going to pass my probation at my work, because I knew I was failing at my job role. I'd started to become my own boss, so start my own business, because in my mind, my goal was I want to travel in the van worldwide, in that kind of sense. I want to at least do a road trip in Europe, but I need to work remote. So the goal was start my own business or freelance as a digital marketer on the road. In January 2023, this is one of my pinnacle moments where I could have quit van life, because it was really hard. Like, being in the van -3, where your diesel heater broke, and working this full-time job, or working a job and trying to create your own business and trying to pay off your debts, everything's very unstable, nothing stable and secure at this point. And I was like, right, I have two choices here. I can either quit van life, or I have to take to the road. And I'm so grateful for YouTube, because I filmed this video when I went to go, I was in the Brecon Beacons in Wales, and I was like cold water swam, and for New Year's I went to hike up Snowdon, and I just felt lost in my journey, and I was like, I cannot continue this journey anymore. I need to go. I need to do something. I need to either leave, which I want to do, or I need to find a job and move into a house, because I cannot do this anymore. This is really struggling. Such a blessing happened. Is one of my friends, Simon, from the van life community, he tagged me in a post on Facebook that said, oh, we're looking for someone to work 20 hours who's a van lifer, May till September in 2023, and to live full-time on the campsite, basically. And I was like, hell yes, I can do this, because I'm working at this point. I just had to take the leap of faith and go all in on being a freelance digital marketer. And at the time I had like a pending client coming, and I had like a couple of clients at this point. I wasn't fully sustainable, but I knew if I'd keep on going, then it will eventually all work out. So from February 2023, I had become my own boss. I had this massive issue happen where I felt lost, and then I got to apply for this incredible opportunity for the summer. So in my mind, I was like, right, if I work every day, just work every day, show up every day, you'll be able to reach your goals. So I landed up, I knew I had my summer figured out a little bit, but March came, and my van mechanics I was vanless. My van was stuck in the garage. There was an external contractor, which wasn't my local garage's fault. It was this external contractor that just kept my van, that didn't communicate about my van. So I was like vanless for a month, and I landed up staying at, luckily, my friend's place that I had become friends with in Wales. And I was so grateful. I was sleeping on their sofa. But that was a very tough time for me, because I was like, man, this has shown me the bad side to van life, where what if my van is not good? You know, where do you go? What do you do? It was a real struggle. I was near breaking point. But luckily I got my van, and then, because the freelance contract that I got was very much Cardiff based, and I had to be in Cardiff sometimes. So I said to them, look here, I'm going to work at the campsite for the summer, but I can pop into Wales as and when it's needed. Because come on, I've got the van. This is what I've got it to travel, right? So the summer came, I got to work, I got to celebrate. I got to finally mourn my mum's 1-year anniversary of her passing at the campsite, which is lovely. Being on the campsite was such a pinnacle moment for me, and this was like the first test of nomadic living. Whilst converting it, I was traveling around the UK. That was lovely, but to be able to work remotely and travel, that was like the second phase of my nomadic living. Like, what's next, you know what I mean? Like, what can I do? Because where I was based at Tunbridge Wells, there was a co-working space, because working in the van with portable Wi-Fi that's not Starlink is a real challenge. I was literally sitting in the lay-bys, uploading YouTube videos or having to send personal documents. I was walking with my portable power station, walking to Signal, which was pretty cool, to be honest. Like, that was really the venture part of van life. But to get into the flow and productivity of what I needed for my business, I needed a co-working space, and I found one in Tunbridge Wells, and I was like, oh, this has opened my awareness a little bit. Maybe if I travel with the van, with a co-working space nearby, that would give me a little bit more stability. So that was my summer. My summer was absolutely great. I went back and forth to Wales. I went to a van life festival. I spoke at another van life festival, but guess what? My mechanics was yet again an issue, and that was definitely, I wasted money in Tunbridge Wells. Tunbridge Wells has the worst mechanics. Like, do not go there at all for mechanics. They waste your money. But obviously I was away from my mechanics, and I decided, no, I'm just going to go back to my mechanics in September, October, when I go back to Wales, and they can sort out more of the stuff. But this seems to be a pattern over the last year. Every time I go to the van mechanics, like take my van in, I'm spending like £500 a time. And I'm like, this is becoming a lot for me. And every time I get my savings up, so the goal was for me to be able to become debt free whilst living in a van, but this van is consuming my money, and it's really frustrating, because I'm trying to create that ultimate dream nomadic lifestyle of I've got the freedom of the job, I've got the freedom of the location, and I've got the freedom of that financial burden, and this is just really tough. So September came, I was again broke because of mechanical issues. So I was stuck in Wales having to work for 4 consecutive months. Now, during the campsite, my sister had said, okay, let's go to South Africa. She's going to South Africa. Do I want to join at the end of the year? And I was like, well, if it depends on finance, if I can finance it, then I would go. But to be honest with you, emotionally, I'm not ready to go back to South Africa, because that's where my mum passed away. So I had this epiphany, like, I don't really want to go to South Africa. I want to go somewhere else. I want to travel somewhere else. I've never traveled before. I want to do something for myself. I want to actually take a holiday, because I feel like my life has been so, like, such a struggle since 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023. It's just like, when is the struggle bus going to end? So I decided Thailand. My gut instinct said Thailand. And I was like, right, if I can work as much as possible between October through to January, work non-stop, get to Thailand, then that's just one thing I can do for myself. That was just one goal. So I worked non-stop consecutive for 4 months. I changed my mindset, because I was like, man, I can either stay in Wales and feel depressed, or I can stay in Wales and make it into like a bit of a fun little challenge. So I started to do Vlogmas. I started to change up my YouTube channel a bit, and I just treated it like a game, because I'm alone. I hate this time of year, and I just want to get through it. So my business did really well. I made the most money I've made with my business. I quadrupled my income over those 4 months. End of the year was amazing for me. I got to speak at loads of different conferences, and I got to do this amazing YouTube channel series, which increased my subscribers and helped me be a bit more creative with Final Cut Pro, which I downloaded because I bought this many years ago, but I just never used it because my laptop's an old laptop, old Mac, 2014 Mac. So I was like, right, let's just, at the time I was having audio software on there, but film software was better. So this was amazing. So I also got offered by my friends to dog sit. I had tried like cat sitting and dog sitting, this is kind of what I started to do at the end of this year. I put a post up on my Facebook because I have so many friends in the UK through just living there over the last 14 years. Someone sometime needs to go away over Christmas, and at least I can have some place warm to be in as well. So that was the balancing. Just like another version of nomadic living is going to house sit. And so the dog sitting, I'll end up making £850 over Christmas and New Year's, which is incredible for me because that was my Thailand flight money and my Thailand money. And I gifted money over Christmas, and I just felt really proud of myself. I was like, I made all this money. This is amazing. And it's like, I should have really put that back into myself. But I felt really grateful to be able to make money that Christmas. And because I had a roof over my head, I was like, who else needs my help? So I got to give back that Christmas, which was really lovely for my family, at least, which I've never been able to do my whole life because I've always had a very intense relationship with money. Like, I haven't learned financial literacy until my 30s. Anyway, so I had this, I was just like, when January came, I was over it. I was like in my Thailand brain. I booked my flight to Thailand. I was like, right, I'm so ready. I'm gonna just leave my van on the streets of Wales.